On his first visit in 2017, he reopened the Embassy of Hungary in Manila. And during the height of the pandemic crisis in 2020, he was the first foreign dignitary to visit the Philippines. And today, he's here once again to celebrate the 50th anniversary of our country's diplomatic ties. Meeting with the President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., along with 3 cabinet secretaries and relevant business players of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, he is none other than Peter Szijjártó, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Hungary. And we are most privileged to get an exclusive one-on-one interview with the minister in person.
The fact that the European Commission has recently decided on introducing new customs, especially on key industries of Europe, they cause tremendous harms to the European economy, to Europe itself. And these customs measures by the European Commission are bringing forward the risk of losing jobs in Europe. Hungary is on the side of free trade. We see the many advantages brought forward by free trade, especially for those countries like Hungary, which are having open economies. One of the 10 most open ones in the world, a country where export over GDP ratio has reached 85%. So during the Hungarian presidency, instead of introducing customs, we will concentrate on accelerating the free trade negotiations of the European Union with Asia and especially with the Southeast Asian countries.
First of all, welcome to our program tonight, and welcome to the Philippines, as we say, mabuhay.
Thank you so much.
And of course, also, it's the 50th anniversary of our relationship, the ties between the Philippines and Hungary. And earlier, you met with the President Bongbong Marcos, or Ferdinand Marcos Jr., also with the our DFA Secretary, Enrique Manalo, and we had several discussions. What were the highlights of these discussions?
Well, you know, it's a great occasion to be here for the political consultations which we have on a regular basis between the Philippines and Hungary, because although we are located 10,000s of kilometers far away of each other, but we have very similar challenges ahead of us, security related, economy related. We have a pretty similar kind of approach how to overcome them. So another actuality was given by the fact that Hungary is taking over the presidency of the European Union as of 1st of July. And I shared my plans both with the President and the ministers I met today that we would like to restart and accelerate the free trade negotiations between the Philippines and the European Union. We would like to see negotiations completed soon and signing the free trade agreement between the Philippines and the European Union. And both your President and your ministers have assured me that the Philippines agree with this approach.
Yes, because you're also the trade minister of Hungary. What are the important areas you think that will be covered by the free trade agreement?
Well, I do believe that agricultural products will be high on the agenda. I can refer to that based on our own national experience. You know, we have been now implementing the so-called regionalization methodology in our food industry cooperation. So Hungarian poultry is being big time exported to the Philippines, just like pork and other agricultural goods. Your fruits would definitely be welcome on the Hungarian market. Today I had many occasions to taste, and I can tell you self-confidently that they would be big hits, big successes on the European market. And of course, when it comes to the production of goods towards the automotive industry, electromobility, I'm pretty sure that the European Union and both the Philippines could take a big advantage out of the economic cooperation.
Yes, you talked about the automotive industry in Hungary, because you are also attracting a lot of foreign investors and investments. And in that manner, you will also be needing more skilled workers. So what was your talk with the Secretary of the Department of Migrant Workers like?
Well, look, first of all, when you say migrant in Hungary or in Europe, that has a totally different meaning. Yeah, because when we say migrant, we usually mean illegal migrants who are definitely not welcome and against whom we definitely protect ourselves. But when it comes to guest workers, that's the expression we use, that's a totally different issue.
Right.
You know, we in Hungary have been in office for 14 years now. And when we took over the office in 14 years ago, the biggest challenge ahead of Hungary was a high unemployment rate, 13 to 14%. So in the last 14 years, we have carried out a very comprehensive and successful industrialization policy through which we have broken records of investment every year. So the unemployment rate is record low. So in most areas of the country and in most industries, we have full employment. So all the Hungarians who would like to have a job can work. So therefore, in some regions and in some industries, we definitely do need guest workers, since there are no other Hungarians whom the employers could find to work, although employers always give the priority to the Hungarians, obviously, because we are speaking about Hungary. And once they don't find Hungarians, then they look for guest workers. And in this regard, we like the cooperation with Philippines, because we have a very strict system how we let guest workers in. You have a very strict systems how you let guest workers out, and these two strict systems give us an assurance that the regulations are being respected, that everything is under control, there's no abuse of rights, and so on and so forth. So therefore, this labor cooperation is very intensive between the two countries. We have 12,000 Filipino citizens on the territory of Hungary working for the companies in Hungary, and the feedback I receive from the employers is usually very positive, that Filipino workers are diligent, are disciplined, they respect the regulations. I think that the Christianity is another common platform between ourselves. I know that there are churches in Budapest already where masses are being celebrated in English language as well. So the demand of the Filipinos to be able to take part on masses, Catholic masses, is being supplied. So that's a great cooperation, because this is being based on regulation and control, and the work of those Filipinos who have been working in Hungary is pretty much respected and valued and appreciated.
Do you see this number growing in the next couple of years, maybe?
Well, what I hear from the work lease companies, they are working together with their counterparts here in the Philippines strongly, so there might be an increase regarding this number, because you know there's a huge investments going on in Hungary. Big factories are being built, where of course thousands and tens of thousands of Hungarians will work, but there might be a need for guest workers as well. You know what is interesting, that sometimes guest workers do save the jobs of the Hungarians, because if an investor wants to expand its capacities but doesn't find enough workforce, then it might move its operation to somewhere else. So that's why, and then those Hungarians who have already been employed by them would lose their jobs. So basically, if guest workers are being brought in specifically for some jobs, in many occasions that saves the jobs of those Hungarians who already have a job with that company.
So is this a government-to-government arrangement, or are there recruitment agencies?
There are recruitment agencies who are, and work lease agencies who are working on that matter, but the legal system is being applied by the government authorities, of course. Okay, so
aside from trade and of course diplomatic ties, there's also the people-to-people ties that we have, and I understand there's a scholarship, an educational cooperation as well, an exchange program. Can you tell us more about this?
Absolutely. You know, we put a lot of emphasis on the internationalization of our universities. So we provide 35 scholarships on an annual basis to the Filipino students on the Hungarian universities, on all majors, on all core courses and all faculties. We are very happy with them. 142 have already graduated, have already completed their studies in Hungary. Our agriculture of life science and agriculture Our University of Agriculture and Life Science has a very good cooperation with a number of universities and institutions here, because we understand that the technological upgrading of agriculture and food industry in the Philippines is very, very important. So therefore we encourage this kind of cooperation and this kind of relationship as well. So the people-to-people contact serve as the best basis for a practical cooperation between two countries which are located so far away of each other, geographically speaking.
And how has this benefited our relationship?
Well, I do believe that the more skilled young people you have here in the Philippines is the better for you. It will further advance and upgrade your economy. And on our side, it's always good to have foreign students because they bring something new. They get contacts with the Hungarian students, and they contribute to the internationalization of our higher education system.
Okay, it's also known that the Philippines is sadly, is a favorite destination of typhoons and natural disasters, because we get like 22 on the average typhoons every year, leaving a lot of damage. And it's also heartwarming to know that the Hungarian government has been very helpful in extending aid and helping rebuild churches, like for instance in one province in the south, and recently in the bombing of a town of Marawi, Hungary was one of the first to extend aid. Where does this humanitarian spirit come from?
Look, we are a country which has a more than 1,000-year-long Christian statehood. So our first Christian king, Saint Stephen, has offered the country to the hands of Mary the Virgin at the beginning of the second millennium, so more than 1,000 years ago now. And since then we have been a Christian state, and being Christian helped us on many occasions to survive and to maintain the country. So therefore, on this Christian basis, we give support to communities all over the world who are in need, and therefore we have given assistance to the Catholic Church here after the brutal attack, after the natural disasters, and we will continue to do so. This program is being called Hungary Helps, and that concentrates on helping the Christian communities all over the world, because we have to speak about this openly. Christianity is the most persecuted religion all over the world. We don't speak about this because we are the biggest religion in the world as well. But biggest being in the world doesn't mean that we are biggest everywhere. So being in global majority sometimes means that locally we are in minority. And where Christian communities are in minority, they might be under attack. So there we always give help, assistance and support.
It's very good to know, and we thank you for that. Also, you've been the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade for 10 years now, right?
Yep.
And you're also very much involved in sports. How does this fit in with your work?
Well, maybe this is the reason that I could be there for 10 years, you know. For this job, you have to be not only mentally but physically fit as well. I think your secretary Enrique could tell you long stories about the physical demand this work comes with. You know, the changes of the time zones, spending nights at the airplane. You know, strange. Places not at your home. So, you know, it's demanding, and sports helps in this regard. By the way, there's a great sports cooperation between the Philippines and Hungary, because we Hungarians are a very innovative nation. We are small and landlocked country, so we have to be very innovative, you know, to develop. And there's an innovative sport art called tackball, which is being played on a curved table tennis table, basically, with a football. This sport art is now becoming more and more popular. Now it has been present in the Philippines as well. The two tackball federations from Hungary and the Philippines have a good cooperation.
Okay, and I know that your time here has been so limited, and yet you managed to do quite a few things, meeting with the president and 3 secretaries, and of course forging ties with our business sector.
Absolutely.
So how was that like, meeting with the business sector?
You know, I met almost 20 business people who have formed the Hungarian section of the Philippines Chamber of Commerce and Industry. and they are supposed to visit us in September. They already all have Hungarian counterparts. I understand they concentrate on labor lease, on agriculture, on food industry, on medical industry, water technologies. These are all industries where Hungary has very advanced and developed technologies, where we have something to offer, you know, and where we are ready to host investments as well. We are a small country, less than 10 million inhabitants, a landlocked one. So for us, international economic cooperation is vital. Otherwise, we would not be able to maintain ourselves and develop economy. So therefore, external economic relations play a crucial role in our political strategies. And you know, when it comes to the Philippines, we understand that we are always being welcomed by respect. We always welcome the Filipino people in Hungary with respect, and this mutual respect is a good basis for the economic and business type of cooperation as well.
I understand you're very strong with like water industries.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the
sure.
works about that?
Yeah, absolutely sure. The Federation of our water management companies have visited already. They have looked around on the countryside as well. They have looked for projects. We understand that there's going to be a nutrition program, tenders being announced by the government. We understand that there are certain areas of the country where the access to potable water of the people should be improved. So these Hungarian companies have looked for opportunities on the region, in the different regions of the Philippines when it comes to the safe water supply of residential areas and safe water supply of hospitals and healthcare institutions as well. And knowing the level of the standards of the Hungarian water management technologies, I'm pretty sure that we will be able to be helpful to you.
Okay, and finally, may I ask your message for the Filipino people, especially now that we're celebrating 50 years of friendship?
Well, actually, I understand that yesterday you have celebrated the Freedom Day.
Yes.
And I'm just here the next day, so it's my honor to wish you a happy Independence Day. I think this is something where we Hungarians and Filipinos do match, which is the love for freedom, the sticking to sovereignty. I think we need this approach pretty much nowadays, as the whole world has been faced with terrible global challenges, especially when it comes to security, armed conflicts, terrible debates in international politics. Therefore, sticking to sovereignty is extremely important. And as we see your policies, you carry out a patriotic, sovereignistic policy as well. The same is being done by us. So therefore, we will always support each other in international organizations. We will support each other to be able to reach the goals of each other. So we are really thankful for the last 50 years we have spent with a good cooperation between the two countries.
And with that, we'd like to say thank you so much for this time. We know you're rushing out to go to another country, but hopefully we can see you again.
Thank you so much for this kind invitation.
The Philippines and Hungary have established an extraordinary friendship that goes beyond diplomatic ties. Through innovative policies, commitment to sustainable development, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s Bagong Pilipinas has transformed the economic landscape, creating opportunities and improving the lives of millions. With relations of two countries firmly founded in mutual respect, Minister Siharto's adept and impactful dialogues with foreign partners have once again demonstrated the Hungarian government's confidence, assuring us that the relations between our countries will continue to flourish even more over the next 50 years. This is Angelique Lazo, and this is In Person.